Testing out the Steam version of Death Stranding. It just came out today. Run it on a laptop. It's the Asus TUF A15. It's got the RTX 2060 and the AMD 4800H. Got it outputted to a 4K TV with HDR, but I do have the HDR disabled because it makes the recording look really milky. So these are the default settings that it'll pick. And this is the one that's going to actually change the performance, the deep learning super sampling. But you can see with RivaTuner in the menus, it's super fast. The only thing I've changed is I turned off VSync so we can actually see the differences. And this is right at the beginning of the game, which seems like a good stress point because it's raining. You got long views with the mountains. You can see dramatically drops down. My GPU core clock 1400, probably boost up to 1500 megahertz on this laptop, RTX 2060. Look at that, we're just low 30s. But if I look at the ground, a little bit of performance increase. Look at the sky. There we go. I can almost hit 60 looking at the sky. Change some of the settings here. So let's turn on quality mode. I'm getting about like 12 extra frames per second. Ground, the sky. See, now we can go above 60 looking at the sky with the DLSS. This all looks really, really sharp. But unfortunately this laptop can't do it 60 frames solid, so let's turn it on to performance mode. So now we're low 50s. That's weird. Why is it just barely above 60 looking at the sky? And it's locked at 60 looking at the ground. But if I go in the menu, it'll shoot up. And in the menu, my core clock shoots up too for my GPU. So unfortunately, 4K, even with the deep learning super sampling, you can't hold a steady 60 on this laptop. It's the 90 watt variant. Alright, let's try tweaking a setting here so we can keep it at 4K. Let's see, graphics, model detail, I don't want to mess with that. Memory for streaming, I don't want to mess with that. Shadow resolution, put that on medium. No difference, because I think that's the setting for indoor shadows, and that's not going to work while I'm outside. Right, so let's put that back on high. How about ambient occlusion? I don't think there's any difference with ambient inclusion while you run around outside either. Okay. So put that back to on. There shouldn't be any reflections out here. Let's knock it down to 1440p. Yep, closer to 60. That's weird. Why is it locked at 60, looking at the ground? Locked at 60, looking at the sky. But in the menu, it'll jump back up. Huh. Double check VSync. Yep, still off. Okay, let's switch this to quality mode in 1440p. Like no difference between performance and quality mode at 1440p using this setup. GPU core clock only goes up to 1600. Utilization, I think it's staying the same no matter what I change. Let's leave it in quality mode and go commit suicide and see what it looks like inside the water. Low 50s. This back up to 4K, but let's put it in performance mode. It's like 1 frame slower. Turn off depth of field in the water. There we go. Oh, that looks much better. Oh, and the frames went up. Well, at least running around outside, depth of field doesn't seem to do anything, but it'll help when you're underwater though. Alright, well, so that's my test. I guess you can't do a solid 60 on this laptop, even with 1440p. It's unfortunate.